and introduce our players. To the top side of the map in the red, we have the Terran player representing property, ladies and gentlemen. It's MorroW. And down to the south, we have the blue Terran player from Millenium, ladies and gentlemen. MarineLorD. TVT in game 5 of this best of 7. Hello, Olympia Fling, how are you doing? Thanks for stopping on by. You know what, you can have an Ace 1, Ace 2 back. I hope I'm still sub to base trade. I am! Awesome. How could I not be sub to base trade? I think it was, for a while, I was sub to base trade, and it was really funny. It was like the first month I subbed to base trade, my PayPal got blocked because I couldn't prove who I was for some reason, or some stupid thing. So then I lost all of my subs, and then I didn't resub to them for a while or something, and then I was like, huh. I was trying to like spam base trade modes, and I'm like, oh, that's weird. I was subscribed, and I looked like a bit of an idiot. Gas first here for MarineLorD to start things up. No gas so far for MorroW. Still the potential to take a 15 gas, and honestly I'd be very surprised if he didn't, and he is actually rallying that 15th SCV straight onto that, where that refinery will be built. So, two very different builds here. This SCV gets scammed out of his job at the end there. Yeah, two very different builds between these guys. I mean, MorroW is going to go into what is going to be a faster expansion and a more defensive style of opening, but still with a 1-1-1 sort of play. He'll have a very early reactor available and a couple of early marines. Whereas MarineLorD, he is going to have that factory coming up very, very early on. He has the potential to go for Reaper as well if he would like. But in general, he's going to have a more aggressive style. It's going to take him a little bit longer before he actually commits in towards a... before he actually commits in towards a command center here. So, again, you expect to see that command center for MorroW coming down in the next 20 seconds or so. It's going to be one of the next things he builds while he starts to react on his barracks. So, again, that's going to be coming in very soon, and MorroW would be very interested to see what is going to be coming out of at least the barracks here, if you can see if it's a Marine or a Reaper. But I guess by seeing the factory drop down so soon, he knows it wasn't delayed to start a Reaper, so should have a pretty good idea it's actually a Marine out, which is why he's moving away with this SCV. He's seen all there is to see for now. And there's a second gas for MarineLorD, so going to really continue with this aggression. MorroW is getting ready to drop that command center. He is in the natural expansion with that SCV, and there it goes. Command center on the way down, so MorroW begins his expansion. React on the way up. Gas forward factory now available, and again, we'll see what the follow-up is going to be here from this point. He's going to go up to at least 6 Marines, and we'll see what follows from there. I imagine the factory going to pop onto that reactor, start getting a couple of Hellions out. In general, alongside a starport after that factory finishes, this is such a great build defensively. It's actually the build I really enjoy doing when I play TVT. In fact, it's my go-to build, because you don't have to do damage, because you've got your CC early, but you have the potential to do damage if you kind of open up a counter-attack, if you get a couple of, if your opponent attacks a little bit over eagerly into you and you pick off a couple of units, you can counter-attack and do damage. It's a really cool build, and again, we'll see how it plays out against this gas first of MarineLorD right now. Here's going for Banshee, and he pops that starport onto that right now, so Cloak on the way, Banshee on the way very soon, and again, MorroW needs to invest into either saving scans, or he needs to invest into an engineering bay. Engineering bay would be ideal, as he is going to start at that starport, so again, he'll be able to put down his, get a Viking out or so. Again, it's just going to be the detection, which is the real problem here in the next few moments, as we do have some Marines somewhere there. They are sitting at the front, blocking anything from coming up this ramp and getting too much further information. No second gas from MorroW suggests, again, he's really only going to be committed to kind of Viking production and not really too much else for now. I mean, he doesn't have the gas to build tanks, he doesn't have the gas to build Ravens or Banshees of his own, so he's just going to be sitting on kind of Hellion, Viking, or maybe a bit of Hellion Medevac as well, potentially. We'll see what he opens with here. It could be a Medevac if he wants to be aggressive. If he wants to play defensively, it's going to be that Viking, and ask what it is going to be. Viking on the way out. I mean, he can still be aggressive with this and push across the map, but he's not going to have that drop potential as the first Banshee moving across here. He is going to be spotted by these Hellions sitting on the watchtower. So MorroW seeing this knows exactly what's underway, and he knows that these turrets are going to be worthwhile finishing, as they're going to be pretty important to keep him alive, and starts a turret in the main base now as well. So this is really nice for MorroW so far. I mean, with a Viking on the way out as well, he's going to be able to start chasing this Banshee away nice and quickly, and he's got a counter-attack coming across the map too, and MarineLorD not in the best of positions to trade with this right now. He's got his Marines a little bit far back. He might risk losing a depot here in the next few moments, as this Banshee is intercepted. No real damage done, one worker kill so far. We'll find a bit of a sweet spot here, but is in range of the turret, so if that Viking comes along, we'll be able to deal with that. But here's that push up the ramp, Auto turret going to be popped down. He might just lose a depot and that will be it. And in fact, there's that depot going down there. So nice little push by MorroW. I mean, he picks off a depot and starts to pull back. No real damage done by this Banshee. 5 workers is alright. It's damage MarineLorD really needs to get done because his command center is so much later than his opponents. He needs to make up for the lack of time in which he's had a mule, the lack of time where he's had SCV production. So he, 5 workers is kind of expected damage. In fact, I'd say MorroW's in a great position here. He's down 3 workers right now. That's about to be just 1 worker. And by the time this finishes morphing into an orbital, he'll still be at an advantage because, again, he's had those extra mules for a little while longer here. So this has worked out quite nicely for MorroW overall, I would say. I guess a fairly even game, really, though. Both players going into slightly different follow-ups right now. I mean, there's the second factory already coming in from MorroW. He's continued to build a lot of Hellions, whereas for MarineLorD, he's building into a position where he's going to be able to push across the map very shortly. He's got a couple of tanks, a good marine count, and continuing to add to that, as well as some Vikings coming up for some air control. Alongside this Raven, that's going to be a pretty formidable kind of set of air control to go up against. So, MorroW has to be very careful here because there is the possibility for MarineLorD to move across and to try and get some damage done. Probably won't happen until at least that 3rd tank pops out at this rate, though, if he moves across the map at all. Again, right now it looks as though he's very interested in just sitting back defensively, not really looking to push his pushes at the potential advantage which he might have with these siege tanks. But there he does on siege, does get a couple of shots on those Hellions. So seeing this higher Hellion count might provoke him to move across the map a little bit. He might say, right, with Hellions, that many Hellions, you're probably not really making too many tanks, so I have that potential. And there we go, starts to move out, at least 1 tank behind. I think more of a mistake than anything else as Banshee comes in from MorroW. But a Raven available, and with this Raven we'll be able to shut this down nice and quickly, and this Banshee's going to fall very quickly here. And MorroW doesn't really see the important thing either, which is this army's coming across the map. In fact, a Hellion does spot it. And MorroW going to move down to the low ground. He's going to try and hold this position here, hold this 3rd command center he's building in place. Is he going to be able to, though? He is currently just building 3 Hellions at a time. Blue Flame started, but nowhere near finished. Can this mass Hellion play work out for him right now? If these Vikings are out of position, maybe. But I think once the Banshee and the Vikings land, I don't think these Hellions can really take this on. So, bit of a weird position right now because it looks as though MarineLorD is not letting up. He's going to continue pushing across the map, looking to see what he might be able to achieve. MorroW wants to fight this before those tanks siege up. Cloak Banshee going to lead the way, and here he goes, just going to move forwards. The Marines will go down very quickly. Is the rest of the army going to be enough here? The Hellions are doing a great job, though. There's those Vikings landing. That's what's going to make the real difference, as the Hellions actually going to pick off reinforcements. This is kind of nice, running by the main army here, and he's actually going to be able to pick off a couple of his tanks. In fact, was MarineLorD attacking his own tank there? It seemed like, I don't know where else the damage could have been coming from on that 2nd tank which fell. Unless there's a couple of Hellions or something I just didn't quite see. Oh, he timed out? What's going on? Is this me? No, it's MarineLorD. He did say at the start of this that his internet was a little bit shit, so a little bit of a timeout here, which is a little bit of a shame. MarineLorD's lost a lot. He's actually down 14 army supply. He has a bit of money in the bank though, so I imagine that'll change a little bit once he starts up a production cycle. It looks as though he might very well time out here from this game though, so let's just give it a couple of moments to get this sorted, set to go. How's everyone doing over in the chat? How are you all doing on this fine Friday evening? I hope you're enjoying the StarCraft alongside me and Wardy. If you're enjoying the show today, you can hit that follow button so you want to go live with all of the SE2 content, which I'm going to be putting out. As MarineLorD does come back in here, and it looks as though he is back and ready to go. So we're going to get straight back into this as MorroW a bit of a mistake. Loses a couple of those Hellions. A couple of auto turrets up here as well. Some very eerie music right now in the background. The tension is building. As the Hellion gets cleared out. So I mean, MarineLorD makes it back home and adds on a couple of factories, which is kind of what he's really missing, that extra production. Which is probably why he wasn't spending his money, probably why he's a little bit behind the supply as well, although, again, MorroW's just been in such a great position in terms of economy. I mean, we're talking about a 3rd base up and ready for him right now. It's actually a really great position for MorroW. I mean, 3rd base ready to go already, he's already ahead by 8 workers, he's ahead in army supply. Everything is going MorroW's way right now in this game. Everything is in his favour. I can't think of one thing which isn't. I mean, he even had his extra production up a little bit sooner. Upgrades are non-existent for both players, so he's in a great position. Both players going into this air army now, and it's actually just MarineLorD who only just holds the advantage there. Very close, though. The one Raven is going to be the real difference. As you see, these Vikings potentially going to be able to get some damage done. Does find a lone Viking to pick off, and again, these Vikings can land and get a little bit of damage done and see what they might be able to get up to here. A couple of autos going to come down, and we do see some Vikings coming over, and it's going to be kind of interesting to see how he deals with this. I mean, these Vikings can definitely fly in and maybe get a lot of damage done here, which is a little bit troublesome. In fact, I think Marino's just going to sit here with these Vikings and just continue to fight against the Hellions. A couple more Vikings come in, but they get shot down very, very quickly. And MorroW doing a very smart thing, which is just landing a couple of his Vikings, making sure he doesn't land all of them, and then MarineLorD, lifts all of his up and gets out of there. MarineLorD loses a lot there. Overall, resources lost on either side, very similar. MorroW did lose a fair few workers in that trade. In fact, he's lost 22 throughout the game, so a lot more than I thought. He did drop down from about 57-ish to 50 for a couple of moments there at least, so again, MorroW losing some workers, but he was ahead a little while before. He's got that third CC faster as well, so he's got that extra mule, so in terms of overall economy, he's looking good, as now MarineLorD moves out to start taking his own third base, and we are in this mech versus mech scenario, which we were kind of expecting, in all honesty. I mean, again, we said these two guys are two players who really do both love to play mech. So this is something we can definitely expect. 4 here going to help against these Vikings, as MorroW does hold complete air control right now. And that's always going to be a pretty significant advantage. Hellions moving across the map. I'm not sure if you can really afford to just move in here with these Hellions and just run into this tank line. I don't think you can at all, in fact. You could land these Vikings though if you would like to. This force continue to chase them. And just adding on a little bit of something here now. Is he going to land them on top of these tanks? I think he is. I think he's going to walk in with the Hellbats at the same time. Is this going to work out for him? The Vikings land and that bit of extra DPS. We already see some SCVs being pulled to try and repair the tanks. A few Hellbats here as well for MarineLorD. And it looks as though he's just working his way through this army pretty easily. And MorroW is going to be pushed back here. Any army advantage which he once had has now very quickly dissipated. And it looks as though MarineLorD is going to hold fairly easily. I mean, it was a bit of a weird attack from MorroW. He throws away all of his Vikings. I liked what he was trying to do. It just took a little bit too long. If he could have hit a little bit sooner, perhaps just before an extra couple of units came out from MarineLorD, it would have been perfect. But unfortunately, that's not the case. And behind this, we have a couple of Hellbat drops taking place here and there. A couple of Vikings as well in the back from MarineLorD. So continuing to do damage to the worker lines, but both players on 3 CCs be able to remake those workers nice and quickly. 67 to 64 workers in total right now. MarineLorD just continuing to land here and picking up a lot more worker kills with these Vikings. This Viking's got 8 kills, and he's continuing to pick off here with these workers as the Vikings in the natural as well. Viking will land to deal with it. MorroW cleaning that one up, but still, in the third base, this one Viking is going to make it away on 10 kills in total, and he actually will land once more, and that might very well be the end of him. Doesn't quite get that final worker. MorroW, 4th base set up, ready to go, but can he hold off this incoming attack from his opponent? Supplies are fairly even, 79 to 78 in terms of the army, and he sees it coming as well, so he's going to be able to start moving into position. He needs to get those tanks sieged up. He needs to get that position, and he needs to hold it. He's going to start moving over there. Scans from both players, very intrigued as to where their opponent's army might be. We really need to know where you need to defend in this game. In this matchup, it's a kind of, TVT is the matchup which people will describe as a chess game. They'll say it's all about the position, it's all about, out-positioning your opponent more than anything, and, that is very, very true, as this Banshee coming in, really nice harassment from MarineLorD. This has been kept up throughout the entire game, and MorroW is just continuing to lose so many workers. This must be, 40 workers killed? 45 workers killed now by MarineLorD throughout the game, and that's just continuing to rise. It's going to head up towards 50 at this point, as MorroW decides to turn away, doesn't want to fight the sieged up army. Banshee dealt with, but again, good damage done. 47 workers killed in total now. But MorroW still holds a worker lead, 79 to 65, and the difference in workers here, it means that MarineLorD will be a little bit ahead in army supply when they max out, but he won't have quite as many resources to remax with. So if both players take an even fight, which isn't very likely, I mean, MarineLorD's more likely to take a bit of a better fight because he'll have a bigger army. But that can shift very easily in TVT, especially in these, when there's going to be big siege tank lines on either side of the map. A slight miss move or move command, things can go either way. So very vulnerable position for both of these guys. MorroW even over SCVing right now. I mean, 83 SCVs is way too many. As MorroW starts to figure out where his opponent is moving towards, but MarineLorD has a position on his opponent's gas, at least. He will slowly be able to work his way against this refinery, if nothing else. Scan comes down just to give him a little bit of vision. Another Banshee on the way in. Will make it past that first turret, but won't be able to do too much here. Finds a sweet spot where, again, he can pick off at a couple of these SCVs, which is nice. But far from game ending here, as MarineLorD just going to unsiege. He's going to move away from this. And he's just going to back away. That Banshee dealt with now. MorroW doesn't really need them workers, though. I think MarineLorD probably doing him a favour by clearing up some of the worker space. Doesn't need 83 workers by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, still 81 is way too many. Probably wants to cut down to about 70. That being said, I mean, he is building up a big bank. He's got a lot more gas than his opponents. So again, if it comes to a remaxing scenario, MorroW's going to be in a pretty good spot. And he only has, you know, less minerals because he's building so many command centers right now. So he is really building up for this to go long. And as MarineLorD already taking the gold base though, so just getting set up over here, starting to mine that gas. The earlier you get that set up, the better, I feel, because I mean, generally, Widow Mine, that's quite funny. Generally, as we got another Banshee over here, getting some damage done. 11 workers, killed 12. Again, MorroW's probably not going to be too bothered by this, especially with so many CCs coming up. He's going to be able to morph them into orbitals. He doesn't need as many workers. What I was saying is, if you hold this base earlier on, it means that later in the game you can really focus everything to the left-hand side instead of being stretched over to the right. So I kind of like this from MarineLorD, getting this up early, as a lot of Hellions moving over to this right side. I'm intrigued. What are they going to try and achieve here? MorroW is setting up. He's going to set up a siege tank line, and well, he kind of has to respond to these Hellions as well, though. You know, he can't just let this kind of run through into his natural. I mean, he is. He's going to lose a lot of his SCVs. Hellions of his own coming in here to try and defend. It's a bit of a choked up scenario for both players. You know, there's got a big siege tank line in the middle of the map. MorroW's actually very far down in supply right now as he loses a lot of his workers there. Army supply is still holding though, and as he moved all of his tanks back, he's given up his position here on this base. He's just going to have to lift that. He can't really look to defend right now. And MarineLorD is pushing his opponent back. He's got a 50 supply lead. He's kind of taking a huge lead here. All of a sudden, it's still only a 20 army supply deficit for MorroW, and he's got so many command centers on the way up, so he's got a lot of orbitals he can work with. He's just invested so much into kind of structures in the last few moments that now that he's taken some losses, he's the losses have come at a really bad time because he's just spent all of his money. You know, instead of backing up, he's just spent it all on kind of building structures. So now he doesn't have any money to actually remax now that he needs it. But given some time, he'll be in a great position because he's got so much infrastructure set up here. So he just has to sort of hold on. But this does give MarineLorD a pretty good position for a few moments here. Air control does still lie with MorroW. Those Vikings in the sky could be a big difference. But see missile turrets coming in, and MarineLorD starting to really commit to this siege right now. And commit to the siege. And I mean, how do you break out of this? It's going to be very, very difficult for MorroW to find a way out because, I mean, MarineLorD truly just sieges up a few tanks to this right-hand side as well, and how do you move across the map at that point? You can unsiege your entire army and move over here and maybe try and break the weaker position, but, you know, you'll still fight into a siege tank line. It's not going to be an efficient trade, and, you know, MarineLorD should be keeping, you know, tabs on where MorroW's army is. He needs to keep an eye on where his army is, and if he does that, he can always respond. I guess MorroW can head in towards this Sky Army, which is what he's going for. I mean, both players are. Raven's on the way up for MarineLorD as well, so we're really heading into the later stages of this game right now. Another scan coming down here from MarineLorD, just checking to see, again, where that army is, making sure nothing's moving over to this right-hand side. He himself is getting a lot of command centers set up here. 69 SCVs to 43 still, and as these orbitals come up, again, probably looking towards sacrificing a few of these SCVs, because again, you just don't need this many SCVs when you have so many orbitals up and running. You only really need the SCVs for the gas mining, and you know, if you can sacrifice SCVs, it allows you to build an even bigger army. Not much of a worry for either player just yet because they're not maxed out, but once they do get maxed out, again, it's going to be bye-bye SCV time, although MorroW a long way from maxing out right now. There's a lot of Vikings moving forwards here. That's going to be a dead CC. That's not going to be able to land in time. No real turret line set up already here means that MorroW not quite able to turn these Vikings away just yet. These Vikings just going to fall back now after picking off that command center. MarineLorD again just starving out his opponent. He's saying, I'm going to be able to mine a lot more from you. I can take these extra bases, and taking this gold base is actually kind of what I was about to say. I mean, he's in this position. He may as well mine this out, and he gets himself more minerals. So if it is a game of literally just who mines more throughout the entire game, he's going to win because he's taking this middle base, which is something MorroW can't do. MorroW looking to try and take this base to the right hand side, but again, MarineLorD's going to know about it, and he's in a position to move in and deny that. Whereas again, MorroW is in a bit of a tough spot here, just trying to defend on what is currently his 4 bases. Excuse me for the coughing. This base does land over here, so tank's going to re-siege, and I mean his army's going to move forwards immediately. I mean he's just not going to let this base go up, no way. And MorroW immediately lifting this here, realizing this is not going to happen, cancels everything. I mean these tanks, so they could start moving forwards on this side if they would like. I guess it's a bit risky with the lack of air control to the right hand side, but he's bringing his Vikings now, so he's going to keep pushing forwards. He's going to look to get something done over here. A couple of turrets being made, I'm not sure whose turrets they are. They could be either MorroW's or it could be MarineLorD's at this point. I think MarineLorD might just be looking to set up a siege on this right hand side as well. It's going to be a very slow kind of stakeout, but these all Seeker missiles, they're doing the job. They're cleaning up a lot of these siege tanks. And in fact, moving forwards here, it is going to be MorroW with this Sky Army, and that Sky Army is going to be huge here. PDD is coming down. Oh, that's such a bad time for a lag spike. It's going to be MarineLorD again. Let me take a moment to cough, guys, to mute my mic and cough properly. Sorry, I don't know what's got into me. Just started coughing since we started casting. So another bit of a spike from MarineLorD, and such a bad time as well, right as this air engagement is about to take place. And MarineLorD is not in a good position to take this fight. I mean, this could be a bit of a turning factor if MorroW can win in the sky and maybe just build some battle cruisers. What can MarineLorD do to counter that? Apart from build his own air. But if he's already behind in air, it's going to be very hard for him to do that. MorroW is ahead in army supply right now. So, you know, while he is stuck on 4 bases... As you just get a quick pause here. While he's stuck on 4 bases, he is kind of in this weird scenario where, as long as he breaks out soon, it's not the end of the world. He's about to mine out, though, so it really has to be soon. It has to be kind of this fight right now, and he has to win it convincingly, which is what he is looking to do. Again, he is in a way better position. Right now. Just waiting a few moments here to get back into this. Looks as though both players were beginning to disengage from this air battle. 3, 2, 1, and we're back in game. And oh, did that go off? Went off in a Viking which was no longer existing. Bit of a weird scenario here. Seeker missiles going off. These tanks are actually chasing underneath these ravens. Nice idea. It doesn't quite pay off though in the end. As it's MarineLorD with, you know, some energy on the ravens right now. He's got tanks. He's going to start sieging a little bit, and it looks as though MorroW, he just wants to break through this right hand side. Not quite there in time though before we do see the siege coming in. You can see MorroW, he knows he needs a base, so he's moving forwards. He wants to start taking this, and you know, he is really cornering a good chunk of this army of MarineLorD here. He's starting to lose this command center though, and that is far from ideal. Excuse the tactical expert. It's far from ideal as these four. I mean, he just has to go right now. He has to kind of start moving forward. Seeker missiles from both sides. Both players disengaging as you need to. You can't afford them Seeker missiles to go off. And I think MarineLorD's in a bit of a better position because he just has the energy on the. I think he just has the energy he needs on the ravens, which is kind of the big difference right now. Seeker missile on one of these 4s. It's this battle for this position right now. MorroW really needs this gold base. He needs a base. He's slowly working his way against this, but I don't know if he has enough in the sky right now. Initially, a few moments ago, he did in that initial fight, but now I'm not too sure. He's disengaging here. Seeker missiles will once again kind of whizzle out. These ones will connect, though. Just not quite able to pull away in time. It's a battle of the Seeker missiles right now. Neverscan comes down on a lot of ravens. We're talking about 14 ravens apiece here. Viking counts fairly even. It's actually slightly favoured for MarineLorD, who also has better upgrades as well. He's going to push forwards right now. The Seeker missiles are going to sizzle out, not quite able to push through. MorroW, though, is winning the ground war, so he's actually going to push through on the ground. He's got a lot of 4s here. These 4s are going to help out a lot, splash damaging those units in the sky. There's another 4 will go down to the Seeker missiles, another one taking a lot of damage, but MorroW takes this right-hand side of the map. Both players strapped for cash, but MarineLorD does already have a bunch of battle cruisers on the way in the production tab, which could be the game changer here. He lost a lot of his ground army, but as this is going kind of into mass air for both players, it's kind of not so important, I suppose. He kept a lot of the Ravens alive, which is the more important thing at this point. And again, he holds the bigger air army, MarineLorD that is. 16 Ravens to 13, 17 Vikings to 13, and he's got 4 battle cruisers on the way. And now he starts to direct his efforts over towards his left-hand side, and as he cleans out the tanks to the very far left, he can actually move forward with his own siege tanks and shut down the very little mine which MorroW does have. He does get this gold base up there, so he does have income for a little while longer. Interesting push across the map here by MorroW, so he's going to start moving forwards here, look to see what he can do. He's actually going to win this fight quite convincingly, as Hellbat's doing a lot of tanking there, so this has been really nice from MorroW, taking an opportunity to do something while MarineLorD is pushing over the left side. It looks as though MarineLorD is not quite able to continue the push forwards here. There's a couple of Seeker missiles going to go down, another couple of tanks will fall here. Again, MarineLorD, he holds the center base, he's got this base set up for himself as well, but as MorroW pushes this back, he'll get into a position where he can take his own bases, and if he can take his own bases, it's you know, he's right back into this game. Resources lost much higher from MorroW though, so he can't really allow this to go into kind of a mined out game where it again comes down to who's been more efficient, because he's really far behind right now. He has to take much better fights if he wants to go into that sort of scenario. Right now though, he leads by a hell of a lot of army supply. Maybe this is his opportunity to try and make something happen. The tank lines are withering out. He is going to be able to start pushing forwards here very soon. As CV's moving forwards, they'll get shelled down very quickly. And the siege tank fire nearly taking down a turret there. We'll set it on fire, at least as MorroW focuses his effort over to this right hand side. He's going to push over to this right hand side. A lot of fours in this army, as he's actually going to start moving forwards. PDD's going to start coming down. Seeker missiles going off all over the place. Seeker missiles pulling back, and actually one Seeker missile will go off onto a battle cruiser, and that's it, a tank as well. And MorroW is still just trying to take this fight. Your mortar cannons coming down here, and Seeker missiles coming down once again. The Vikings, the fours, and everything just trying to do whatever happens. A lot of Seeker missiles go down. The battle cruisers get taken out here. MorroW is starting to push through this army. These fours on the ground are going to do so much, but now the Seeker missiles come in from MarineLorD. Fours pull back in time. The one Seeker missile will go down as the Seeker missiles come in once again. Then PDD soaking so much of this damage. One more Seeker missile explodes. The splash damage helping out a little bit here and there. MorroW is actually still in a good position. He still leads 20 army supply. He's actually the player of the bank right now. MarineLorD, where is his bank? It's in battle cruisers coming in. They're going to be operational soon, but not just yet. Does MorroW have enough to keep pushing forwards with this army? He's repairing up his fours. These fours are being so useful right now. You know, once them battle cruisers go down, just the splash damage on the Vikings, the splash damage on the Ravens has proven to be very effective. As these few units not quite sure what to happen. Both players don't really know what to do right now. It's a slight army supply lead for MorroW, but just again ever so slight. He's breaking away against this left hand side now, so he's finally going to start breaking out of the siege on the left, which means he can take this base as well, which is huge. A lot of the action focused on the right hand side of the map right here, because we see again this gold base for MorroW. A big factor. Gold base for MarineLorD as well. Neither player really wants to give up this right hand side. Losing the right hand side opens the opportunity to siege up this sort of base as well on both sides. And we're actually going to see the engagement start to happen here. Seeker missiles coming down, and MorroW is starting to pull away from those Seeker missiles. They will all fizzle out. PDD's doing their job, soaking the damage, and MorroW is able to disengage from this fight. Again, it's pretty much only air units in the sky now from MarineLorD. 11 battle cruisers, 15 Vikings, 15 Ravens. In fact, he wins the air wars in every way, but them 11 fours are the real difference. These few units which are trying to move through the middle of the map, seeing what they can do, as a couple of 4 shots going off here and there, but again not quite able to do too much. PDD is soaking a lot of the damage as moving forwards again down the right hand side. I'm not sure if MarineLorD's not taking this right hand side seriously enough, because again losing this right hand side means he loses these 2 bases, which are quite important right now. But at the same time, MorroW's losing this left hand side bases. He's mined out here. As long as he can retake this position, it's going to be okay for him in the long run. Fours leading the charge once again. Seeker missiles coming down, and MorroW is once again going to be forced away. Another Seeker missile will connect though. That's 1-4 barely surviving here. MorroW's going to lead the charge into this battle. PDD is starting to go down, and I'm not sure where Seeker missiles are landing. In fact, Seeker missiles going in all over the place, and MarineLorD's all clumped up. He's going into the army. What's going on? I'm not too sure. Seeker missiles continuing to go off here. It looks as though MorroW is starting to win this fight, and he's going to turn and fight now. It's battle cruisers against Vikings though, and the fours coming in as well is going to help out a lot. There's so many PGDs still available. That's the difference. There's no energy on the Ravens. for MorroW, but he is starting to work his way through these battle cruisers, and Ravens on their own aren't so great. In the skies, a couple of forces still survive to the south side. These Ravens continue to push forwards. PDD's still around. Seeker missiles coming in. MorroW once again disengages in plenty of time. Both players with big engagements here. But it's MarineLorD who has the money to keep on making units this time around. He makes 8 Vikings at a time. 4's in production as well. A few tanks to this bottom right hand side have shut down this base. But once again, MorroW finds himself mined out. He needs to take this base. He needs to focus over towards the center now. He needs this base. He needs money. He is more or less mined out once again in this game. And this time he doesn't hold an army supply advantage. What a game this is as we approach the 40-minute mark. Game 5 of Property versus Millenium. We see a few units starting to move forward. Some auto turrets being set down. A lot of auto turrets being set down. Start working their way against this orbital command. And again, it's a position right now where MorroW just can't really afford to fight, it seems. He loses his tank down to this bottom right-hand side. Just another scan coming in. Some Hellbats moving forwards here. Going to clean up a few of these auto turrets. A couple of these tanks getting worked away at. And it looks as though we're going to have the fight. And here we go. What's going to go down? A lot of Seeker missiles available. All just sort of fizzling out, though. Nothing really connecting here. And it looks as though MarineLorD might just come out ahead in this one because the engagement continues here. The battle cruisers continue to move forwards. MorroW continues to kite away. He's running out of Ravens, though. He doesn't have the money. Neither player really has the money, but it is MarineLorD with the mining bases. The Vikings turn around, though, and the Vikings are getting some work done. As it looks as though MarineLorD trying to get back in towards his PDD range. Seeker missiles will zone MorroW away for a little while longer. MorroW down 40 army supply now at this point. Throughout this entire last 20 minutes or so, he's been fighting with a with an armor disadvantage, so that's really been helping MarineLorD out too in terms of efficiency. And we're now looking at a 10k efficiency difference in this game, alongside MarineLorD, of course, having those extra bases up for so long. It's the real difference right now as these Vikings, these Ravens moving forwards, looking to see what they can maybe get up to. Raven getting a Seeker missile connection off there in the center of the Vikings. It looks as though MorroW's going to come forwards. He's just going to try and defend, but again, it's just so much Raven energy from MarineLorD. And he's just not going to be able to keep the space alive. He's desperately just going to try and mine anything he can, as much as he can with these mules, but the CCL will fall. And he only got about 100 minerals out of it in total. Some Widowmine's going to start moving forwards. These Widowmine shots! Good, but not good enough, right? MorroW continuing to fall in supply. He's trying to stay in this, but he just can't quite do it. And MarineLorD takes 3 games in a row to put Millenium onto match point.